If you want something done right, you do it yourself. DIY. It's actually the opening statement for my TEDx I gave. And if you're interested in seeing it, I'm very proud of it, of course. Go to YouTube, search John Bass for TEDx, and you'll be able to see it there. I took a broader approach on that, given TEDx's style, where it didn't just talk about business and leadership, but also everyday life. But I want to dive in a little bit more to how this affects leaders and organizations. And how I define the DIY dilemma is suffering through things on your own, even when it's less productive. So I'm not talking about DIY home improvement for that man or woman who loves doing it, loves saving money, they enjoy spending their time on it, they're actually good at it, or maybe even not good at it, but just enjoy the attempt. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is suffering through things, doing things that aren't worth your time, worth your money, worth your energy, because you feel like you have to. And research shows that the DIY dilemma tends to happen because of ego, lack of resources, fear of burdening others, and social conditioning. Now, I think in most places in the business and leadership world, it's because of ego or lack of resources. And here's a couple case studies, right? I worked with a serial entrepreneur, smart, ambitious, helped him launch a couple different businesses and organizations. But when it came to his umbrella consulting company, he wanted to do the bookkeeping himself. And again, I don't think it was that's necessarily because he wasn't willing to spend the money, but it was something because I worked for his other organizations I was willing to do, like basically for free. Like, just let me take care of this. But he didn't have me do the day-to-day accounting and everything for his consulting company, but he did have me manage the reconciliation and, closing, all that type of stuff, me and my bookkeeper. And I'll tell you what happened every single time. We'd spend more time on reconciling that one set of books than we did all the other companies. I think at the time I had 6 clients that I was fractional COO for, and we'd spend more time on that one than the other 6 combined. And the reason was because it was so messed up. Like, he just wasn't very diligent on where things went and how it got put in, and not because he's not smart, it wasn't worth his time and attention. And I actually agree with that, but he didn't want to let that go. And so here's what happened for him, right? He loses the time that he spends on doing it. He got everything wrong, majority of things wrong, and so they weren't accurate, and he still didn't save any money because the time I spent, even if it wasn't me kind of doing this for free for him because of the relationship, even if he was hiring someone, they would have spent more time on doing this reconciliation than had they done the daily, weekly bookkeeping for its company and reconcile, because things are so messed up. Like, it would take 2 or 3 hours. And if you've ever done your own bookkeeping or accounting, you should know that it shouldn't take that long for an organization that's doing a couple million a year. But he just wanted to do it, right? So that's what I mean by the DIY dilemma. Suffering things alone, being less productive on it, when you actually end up losing it on time, money, energy, everything else that goes along with it. And it's not just about these tactical components either. It's also about how we view our organization and where ideas come from. We probably have all experienced that CEO, that leader, that manager who just truly believes that every idea has to come from them. You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? If something comes up from the bottom, it's above your pay grade, or from a different department, stay in your lane. They have to be the ones that the ideas come from. Why? Because a lot of times, especially for founders, I started this. This is my idea. This is my concept. Or if it's the manager, it's my responsibility. I'm the one in charge of the ideas and making sure they get executed, or the CEO, whatever it is. But time and time again, I'm telling you what happens every time. Every time I work with or run into a CEO, manager, leader of some sort that has this mentality that the ideas have to come in through and from them, the minute things aren't good, the minute sales are slumping, the minute the product line isn't what it should be, the marketing isn't what it should be, whatever it is slumping or not meeting the expectations, the first thing they always do is come back and ask the staff, why is this happening? I worked for a founder and CEO who was famous for using the line, why aren't we Amazon? And I always wanted to flip that back around on him and you tell us. You've been around for 27 years and your longest tenured employee is 8. So we really couldn't tell you, right, why we're on Amazon. We haven't been here. So I'm saying this not to belittle or criticize any of these leaders, but to showcase that you got to learn to open up. You got to learn to trust others. You got to learn to bring other ideas. You got to learn to where to use your resources, your time, money, and your attention. That's something I'm often asked. John, How do we know when to outsource or when to hire our first staff, or when do we grow our staff? You got to take a look at a couple of factors, right? Obviously, you got to take a look at your resources and your money and what you have coming in and going out. But you have to do it in a broader picture, because there always can be a justification for why not to spend money, because I want more in my pocket, right? Like there's always going to be a reason why not to spend more money. So you have to look at several factors. For one, for yourself and for your team, you got to look at what is everyone doing, right? What is it for you, especially, what do you enjoy doing? If you are stuck doing everything you don't enjoy, if your staff are being stuck doing everything you don't, you're all going to burn out. You're not going to make it last. So take a look at what you enjoy, what other people enjoy. And I don't want to hear this whole thing about that's all young people, they just want to do what they want to do and not what they don't want to do. You want people in the roles doing the jobs that they enjoy, that help them get up every day and come to work, that excite them, that they get empowered by, right? So I don't want to hear that whole talk about people just wanting to. You should want people doing what they enjoy doing. You should be hiring people who want to do the job that you're hiring them for. Take a look at what your time is worth, what your staff's time is worth. Are the tasks that people are doing fitting in the scale of what they should be earning or what you're paying them, right? Like, if I say this time and time again, you may be the CEO or founder of a company, but if you're doing the books, you're still a bookkeeper. And if you think your time is worth $200, $300, $400, $500 an hour, and you're doing the bookkeeping, you just lowered your time to $25, $50, $75 an hour, right? So take a look at what you are doing, what people are doing, and the cost, the functions they're doing, what that costs per hour, and what their true value should be worth. You also got to take a look at what people are good at. Don't discount that part, right? Like, we're short-staffed, whatever, like we have limited resources, we got to do what we got to do, right? But that's when problems happen. I'm working with a startup right now that had inefficient operations with mistake after mistake after mistake because they had someone set up the operations who had no idea what they were doing. Starting off right in those situations and having someone, even if you don't have time or the money for not so much time, the money for the full-time person, tap a consultant, tap an expert, have them come in, at least show you the ropes, have them show the staff the ropes, let them help you avoid the roadblocks and the potholes that are going to exist in getting where you want to be. So take a look at that. And beyond just where to outsource and where to staff up, you got to let go as a leader, right? You got to let ideas come from different perspectives. Saying things like, that's not your lane, that's above your pay grade. You are limiting the perspectives, insights that you can truly get from your team. And when you do that, you're limiting your organization's potential, because everyone in your organization has a unique and different perspective of how that organization works, what works and what doesn't work, and how that affects everyone around them. The DIY dilemma, the cure for it is truly curiosity, because it's going to allow you to change your mindset and look beyond your current situation and your own limitations and see that there's more possibilities out there. If you just tap into the resources around you, the ideas and perspectives around you, it's going to have you focus on operational excellence. Making sure that when you're doing the bookkeeping, it's being done right. You're going to use your resources you have at your exposure to make sure that you are running the business in a way that's going to achieve the intended results as quickly, efficiently, and effectively as possible. And lastly, you're going to create an environment and an atmosphere where people love to come to work, because their ideas are valued, their work has meaning, and there's no greater gift a founder, a leader, a CEO can give its organization is to truly inspire every single person underneath them, not from a dictator standpoint, not through bonuses and raises, although that's a great way to reward people, but truly showing them that they are valued in the organization and they're making meaningful contributions to that organization every single day.